I know I've been critical of the lack of investment that we've had towards the technology sector in Canada. That's why when I found out this recent research, I really had to put a video together explaining some of the exciting things that are happening. We'll go over kind of how we've gotten to this point and where we could really go in the future, especially since Canada is not really a manufacturing hub anymore. I know we have some auto. I know the oil and gas sector is really diminished and it doesn't look promising moving forward. So when I came across these numbers, which we'll go through, it's actually pretty impressive. But if this is your first time here, my name's Nick. Welcome to Ways to Wealth. Before we get into the video, huge favor, huge ask. Learn something new or you get some value out of the video, hit that like button for me. It definitely helps my channel out. And if you haven't already, please consider hitting that subscribe button and turning that notification bell on. We'll jump into the computer as always, breaking down the first of two articles that we'll be going through. And the first one comes from the Financial Post and it states Silicon North. The person who wrote the article said, long a believer in building a domestic tech scene, Arsenal watched the Canadian startups multiply in recent years. We have your Shopify's, your Lightspeeds, and in combination with the open immigration policies, growing our ecosystem allowed young companies to attract workers, stemming years of brain drain. Now, brain drain is basically educating our youth, educating our population, and then having them shipped out to places like Silicon Valley, the San Francisco area where a lot of these tech companies were. And we saw a lot of our young, bright future, generations start to leave to go to these places because they had great wages, great opportunities, your Googles, your Facebooks, your Oracles, many different tech companies are headquartered down there. So Canadian cities had previously lost throngs of graduates to the Silicon Valley, became a magnet for foreign students and workers, helped impart more restrictive U.S. visa policies under Trump. Between 2016 and 2020, Toronto added almost 55,000 more tech jobs than it produced tech graduates, the greatest deficit in 50 North American markets ranked by CBRE. Montreal and Vancouver came in third and fourth. So basically, this is the fact that because it became harder for these people to get into the US, they actually stayed at home and we actually started to add jobs. This is absolutely incredible. The next article we will get into discusses this a little bit further in detail, stating Toronto, Ottawa among top Canadian cities in North American tech rankings. So it is well known that Canada is a top destination for tech companies, especially growing US tech companies that need labor. So we're one of the ones that they kind of pick and choose from first, especially with proximity and same language and pretty similar culture. What may be less known and what the report highlighted is the extent to which Canadian cities are doing well in the North American context. So this report that was produced stated that technology talent employment across North America has weathered the pandemic better than most other professions. In a year where overall employment contracted by 6%, tech employment increased by 11%, and that's like software developers and programmers. That increased by 15%. And tech companies are looking to grow more than ever in Canada because of the depth and the talent and the affordable labor that we have. I know the US dollar is particularly weak in Canadian dollar terms, but technically it's about a 30% discount in currency to come hire somebody here. So obviously one of the main factors as to why we have so many people here is the role of immigration. So we do bring in a lot of people from other countries who have been educated in computer science and all of the different IT and technology, different education platforms there. And its reduction due to the pandemic restrictions curtailed even more growth in the sector, the lack of immigration is affecting a company's ability to grow, and they've had to hire people from outside the country as freelancers. But that stopgap solution is not a long-term solution. So I know that they are regularly trying to open up the border and to get more people in, but that's kind of where we sit at today, is the fact that the number of jobs that are in the tech industry in Canada are increasing. Toronto obviously being the number one, but breaking it down and looking at the top performers. So you have Ottawa ranked number 10 on the list out of 50. Vancouver moved up one spot to 11. Montreal at 16. Calgary jumped 6 spots to 28. This is something that's super interesting. I know there's a lot of vacancy in Calgary, the downtown core, for office space. And I did hear that some tech companies are opening up and going there because it is cheap to operate. Obviously, if you do have a tech job, you can work remote. But it is something, if you do want to have a landmark site or a head office, it's something that a lot of tech companies have gone to. Waterloo, obviously, starting from the BlackBerry boom, is at number 21. And then you have your Quebec. But basically, the most important part is that Toronto tops North America when it comes to the brain gain. We're not talking about brain drain anymore. We're talking about brain gain. We're actually bringing these jobs into our economy, and we'll discuss a little bit what the benefits are when it comes to that. But the fact of the matter is, it's salary. Salary is the number one, and we'll take a look at what those numbers look like. So we do have 81,200 tech jobs added over the past 5 years, while producing 26,000 and change tech degrees in the same time period, for a net brain gain of just over 54, close to 55,000 jobs. So it shouldn't be a surprise given how much Toronto relies on international immigration. Montreal also had a brain gain as well, which is absolutely fantastic. And it's excellent to see so many of these different cities in Canada show up on this North American list. Edmonton has been North America's fastest growing tech market, and that's being fueled by the University of Alberta and the provincial government for the artificial intelligence research that has been garnered there. So I definitely have been critical in the past, but investing does work. It does bring these jobs into our economy, especially since we're not a manufacturing country anymore. We do need to figure out what our place is moving into, the tech generation or what the next world looks like. And I think, the Toronto area has definitely been highlighted by the education that we have. It does say here, by comparison, the top Canadian market for tech degrees is Toronto, which produced just over 6,200 degrees in 2019. This includes computer science degree from Mac in Hamilton, Ontario, and then also the Ontario Tech University, which I believe is in Toronto or just on the east end. But why, again, this is super important is that we did used to have a brain drain. If you did get this type of education, the first place that you were looking for work was down in the US. That means these people aren't paying taxes, the education, the intelligence that they have is leaving the country, which you don't want, especially since, a lot of these roles are regarded as, highly educated people. So if we take a look at what the average Canadian salary is in 2020, you have as a country just over 54,000 a year. And if we look a little bit further down, you can break down and see which each individual province looks like. And why I'm showing you this number is because we're going to compare it to the salaries that are seen in the tech sector. So you have your mid 40s to high 40s here. You have your ranging around 50s. And then you have, which I'm surprised to see, this is the first I've learned, your Northwest Territories, your Yukons and stuff like that. They're well over that 60 number. So very interesting to see. I didn't know that. But then we're looking at the information technology average salary in Canada in 2021 is $76,000, and you can even break that down and look at the low to the high. You could see the mid sector there is kind of 55 to 76. That's where you see a large percentage of volume, even extending probably into the 80s here. And then you have highs of 105,000, and then breaking it down and showing you, what the regions look like, 68,000. So you're kind of on that upper end band of salaries when you're looking at province by province, and well over what is traditionally made. And then you have just kind of maybe some different roles here: software development, engineers, and they all do relatively well. And I think this is a very beneficial part to the economy. I think it's something that will help us move forward as a nation, and good jobs, good salaries will definitely help. More money that's spent, money supply increases, consumer spending increases. These people will want to spend. Real estate prices can stay high because of the wage growth, and obviously money is cheap. But I think all in all, this is a great thing for the Canadian economy, and I definitely see this trend continuing. There's a lot of bright people here. I know that the people that come to this country are very smart as well. So I'm very happy to see information. If I were to do it over again, I would definitely love to take some computer science classes myself. But if you're still with me, if you're still here, you found this video interesting, you found it of value, hit that like button for me. I would definitely appreciate that. And if you haven't already, consider hitting that subscribe button, turning that notification bell on. I hope you all have a great week in the market. Happy trading.